Hey, do you want to have better impact or greater impact? Do you want to close more sales? Do you want to have a stronger leadership of your team? And do you want to build stronger relationships with the people you know? If the answer is yes, there is only one skill you need. And I'm going to share that today in JT in the Raw show 120. 120. Good morning, Eugene. I am coming to you live from Pinnacle Health Club. There's Jimmy over there, the club manager who just took me for a workout. Hence, there he is, photobombing, and I am sweating up a storm. Welcome to JT in the Raw, where I chew the thin on business. JP Richard. How are you, JP? Hope you had a great time over there at Club Industry. Pete Crawford, good morning. Sean Lestrange, good morning. Brian, good morning. Eugene, good morning. Susan, good morning. I am coming to you live from Pinnacle Health Club, and I have just been locker roomed. Just had a great workout here, so a big shout out to Jimmy here at Pinnacle, who took me through a locker room workout with a bunch of others. I'm sweating up a storm. Excuse me for 1 minute. Just need a towel to towel myself down. So big shout out to Jimmy and the team here. I'm going to be working with this team today. We have got a professional development day here, and I'm facilitating that day. I'm also sharing with them some insights around the fitness industry around the world. We're talking about behaviours for these guys to get ultra high results in their business, and we're also going to talk about goals. We're going right back to goal setting. It is a back sweat, Frosty. Good morning, how are you? It's a beautiful foyer design. Yes, Sean, it's a great little club down here. It's in a brand new corporate park here in Melbourne, and it's pretty swish. Half the group did yoga and they're not sweating. Actually, let me rephrase that. All the group except for me did yoga except for me because I can't do it. Pete Crawford, how's that club going? How's that new business going of yours? Hope it's going well. Give me a thumbs up. Belinda, good morning. Congratulations, Belinda, on your first Facebook Live. So, let's talk about this skill. Let's talk about something that is the easiest skill. You don't need a consultant to pay you to teach. You don't need a coach for you to do any better at. It's just something that you can practice. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Can you guess what it is? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? It is listening. It's listening. Listening will give you greater impact at work. Listening will help you close more sales. Listening will give you stronger leadership with your team, and listening will build stronger relationships with people in general. So I want to give you a few ideas around listening and things and examples, and reason why I want to share this, the reason why I want to share it. Great to see Pete, absolutely awesome, that's fantastic. Morning, Christian, down up there at the ACT Lorena, good morning, how are you? So firstly, I want to share a story with you, and that's where one of the services we offer at Active Management in the fitness industry is we do mystery shopping. And what we do in mystery shopping is when we call a business, we will say, could you tell me about your product, which in this case generally is fitness, and we ask them, can you tell us about your membership? Now, generally the first question that a health club person asks is, sure, I can definitely help you with that. Is there, can I ask you, are you doing any exercise? And what we then do is we then say something like this. Yeah, I am currently exercising. I'm going to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. I'm doing classes 1 day a week. I'm doing some weights, blah, 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 blah. But I'm looking at leaving because I've changed work and I need a new gym that's closer to work, and you guys are closer to me. Now, the next question the salesperson asks is really interesting. What are you currently doing around exercise? You see, what has happened is in our training, when we train salespeople, when we train customer service people, when we train our teams, we train them so damn hard to an inch within their life that they're robotic. And when someone breaks out of the script that they are used to hearing, they haven't actually heard what the person said. And I can tell you that the majority of times we mystery shop a business and we give all the answers to the questions we know they're going to ask, they still ask those questions because they have not listened. They have not listened. So for me, this is a really key component to closing more sales. It's listening to what the prospect says. But then let's think about what we do when we're managing a team and we're talking to a team. We'll often go round in a team meeting and we'll say, so tell me, how's things been this week? How do you feel you've been performing? Where do you think you're at? And they'll give us an answer. And in our mind, we're thinking about that next question that we're going to ask, but we're not actually listening to what they're saying. And so we ask them another question, which probably doesn't relate to the answer that they just gave us because we are not present. So this is a second tip around listening, is that you must be present when you're listening to everybody. I find this all the time with Zoe. I could be on my phone and she's talking to me and I don't actually hear what she said. And that gets me in the poo with her. Hands up, parents, give me a love heart if that happens to you occasionally, maybe with your wife or your partner or your kids, is that you're not present at the time and therefore you're not listening to what people are saying. You're hearing what they're saying, but you're not listening to what they're saying. Give me a love heart if you think that's you sometimes. No one will see, by the way. No one will see if you give me a love heart. But this often happens in the workplace. Morning, Rich Darby. Good morning, Chantel. Great. Sorry, didn't see Frosty giving me or Eugene giving love hearts there on that question. But quite seriously, when we're with our team, we have to be 100% present. And we've got to listen to what they're saying. We've got to read their body language. We've got to understand, read between the lines. And if we're not reading between the lines, we're not really listening to what they're saying. We're just hearing what they're saying. We're not listening. When we read between the lines, when we look at their body language, we get the underlying meaning of what they're actually saying. And this is critical for us to improve their performance, for us to help them, for us to drive them, for us to understand where they're coming from and how they're feeling, perhaps outside of work. So this is why listening is a really critical thing. The third reason why I think listening is really vital is that it gives us so many clues on how to speak to someone in return. When we're listening to what someone's saying, it helps us shape our message back to them. It helps us shape how we are going to talk back to them. So let me give you a couple of examples. Another wipe down of my sweat towel. Let me give you an example of this. There are three types of learning behaviours. You can learn visually, you can learn through auditory, and you can learn through kinesthetic. Auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Auditory, visual, kinesthetic. Okay, so when somebody walks into your business, whether it be a gym, whether it be a real estate agency, whether it be a retail store, and they say, hey, I was just wondering, could you show me how this works? That means they're a visual person. So if you've listened to what they've said, then that means they want to see that water bottle. They want to see how that water bottle works. There's no point telling them, because when you start to explain to them, they'll just glaze over and have no concept. So the key, as an example, is that when people are talking to us, we listen. We're listening for clues on how they want to learn, whether they want to learn through seeing things or whether they want to learn through hearing, or they actually want to learn through doing things. This is a critical component. Now, you only pick that information up when you listen. Another reason. So clues around how to talk to people. We also get clues on their personality profiles. Many people in the fitness industry, many people in business have done DISC profiling, D-I-S-C profiling. The language that people use will help us understand whether they're a D personality, whether they're I, S, or C, whether you're using Myers-Briggs. Whatever method you use to understand someone's personality, that will help us then communicate back to them. So if we understand how they learn, we understand their behavioural styles, then we can communicate in a language back to them that they understand and that they're going to get maximum value from. But if we're not listening, then we don't know that shit. It's as simple as that. Good morning, Woz Miller. Good morning, George. Great to have you guys on. Thanks for joining the show. You come in late. Feel free to go back and watch the replay because I'm talking about listening, the number one skill that costs you nothing but will improve your business tenfold, 100-fold. So here's what I want you to be thinking about is I want you to be thinking about when you hear and listen to what people say, you can then shape your language back to them. So if you're listening to what the person's saying, they might be a fast talker, so you can talk fast back to them. They might be a soft talker and a slow talker, so you can change your speaking style to match them. Now that's going to build connection between you and your customer, between you and your team member, between you and your partner. If you listen to what they say and how they say it, you can change your behavior, you can change your language so there's a greater connection. And that's what we want in business. That's what we want in life. We want greater connection with people by changing the way we communicate to match their communication styles. And you can only do that when you listen. Give me a love heart if you agree with that right now, or give me a love heart if that's what you're going to start to focus on. Whether you're going to start to not just hear what people say, listen to what they say and change and shape your communication style to their communication style so you freaking connect and you sell and you drive your team and you have a greater and deeper connection with your partner. That's it. Boom. Coming to you live from Pinnacle Health Club here in Victoria. That is it. JTInTheRaw, show 120. Couple of hints around listening. Couple of hints. Number one hint. Geez, I am sweating. Number one hint, take notes. Take notes. There is no way in hell you're going to remember every conversation you have. You're not going to remember all the details. So take notes. Have a little handbook and write some notes when you meet people. Just jot it down. If you get their business card, jot some information down about them on the back of their business card. If you're sitting down with a prospect, write notes. If you're sitting down with your team member, write notes. This is my little Bible. I take this everywhere with me. So when I meet people, when I have conversations with people, I write it down. I don't use technology because when we handwrite, it gets more put into our head. So I will write things down. I take my notebook everywhere with me, and I write shit down. So that's number one hint. Oh, by the way, if you're sitting down with a staff member, or if you're sitting down with a prospect, or you're sitting down with somebody and you want to take notes, you simply say, hey, Susan, would you mind if I take a couple of notes because I don't want to forget anything? There is no way in hell anyone's going to say, no, don't write anything down. They're going to say, wow, that's impressive. Yes. So take notes. That way you don't have to remember everything because, just as an aside, your brain can only take so much. So as more information comes in here, something gets spat out the other end. That might have been important. You don't have to remember stuff if you've got it written down. So hint number one, to improve your listening, write notes. Number two hint is when the person has finished, paraphrase it back to them. Paraphrase it back. So when your team member, when you ask, okay, so how are you going in relation to your goals or your performance this week? And they tell you, paraphrase it back. So from what you said, this is what I heard. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Did I miss anything out? No, that's exactly right. Awesome. Which means you've got the exact message. I use this a lot with my netball team, my under 10s netball team. I'll tell them, this is what I want you to do. And then I'll say, now you girls tell me, what does that mean? And get them to paraphrase it back. And I go, well, that's not quite what I meant, but I'm checking they're listening. So this is a great skill to use for you back to people and people back to you to make sure that you've got a congruent message coming across. Paraphrase back. That's hint number two. And number three is as the person is speaking to you, engage with them. The engagements, hey, g'day Robin, g'day Kyle Campbell over there in the United States of America. Number three is engage with them. So engagements go something like this. Oh, I see. Right. Oh yeah, I get it. That's it. That's all engagement is. Nodding and Okay, so I'll give you those 3 hints again to improve your listening and the results of your listening. As I go through them, give me a love heart, whether you're watching live or on replay, give me a love heart if this is something you think you need to work on. Number 1, take notes when people are talking to you. Number 1, take notes when people are talking to you so you don't miss the details. Number 2, if you think that's something you can work on, give me a love heart. Number 2, paraphrase back. Paraphrase back to them. This is what I've heard. Am I right? Did I miss anything out? This is what I said to you. You tell me what you heard. And let's see if we've got congruence in our message. If this is a skill you think you should work on, that's number 2. Give me a love heart. And number 3 is engage with the person as they're speaking with simple body language. Yep, got it, awesome, thank you, fantastic, Simple as that. That's it, ladies and gents. There are your 3 hints to improve your listening, whether you are working with a prospect in a sales situation, whether you're working with your team, or whether you are working with your partner or your kids or even your friends in the pub this weekend. Practice your listening skills. Listening will cost you $0 to improve. It's just practice, practice, practice. And it's a life skill. It's a skill that will make you a better human being, a more compassionate human being, a more empathetic human being. If you love the show, please tag anyone in the comments. They won't get the hint that their listening sucks, but please tag them in the comments. If you've got colleagues, if you've got people that you work with, if there's enemies that you know, tag them in the comments, share the show, because if we can all become better listeners, I kind of think that's a communication skill that we've lacked a little bit. If we can all become better listeners, we're going to have a much happier society. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gents. Show 120 of JTInTheRaw coming to you live from Pinnacle Health Club here. I'm going to be working with these guys in around about 10 minutes. Next week, what's happening? Next week on Monday, I fly to Miami, Florida. I have a 2-day roundtable meeting there where a whole bunch of us get together from around the world that run roundtables. So we're going to get together and try and work on our business and improve how we run roundtables. So really excited to catch up with some of my peers and my friends from around the world in Miami for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday night I then fly to New Orleans. I think I'll be the only sober one there in New Orleans because I don't drink. So I'll be able to watch everybody. But I'm speaking there at the Athletic Business Conference. This is the first time I've spoken at that conference and I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about industry trends. I'm going to be talking about how to run hyper-productive meetings with your team. And I'm also running a round table around live videos and the power of live videos in your marketing and your communications to your clients, your members and your prospects. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be super exciting. Fly home Saturday night, back to Sydney on Monday, ready for work the following week. So next week, I'm going to be coming live from Miami Airport. Miami Airport or South Beach, Miami. I'm not sure yet, but I think it'll probably be somewhere between Miami and Miami Airport. So stay tuned, but it will be live and I might share some of the things that I've picked up at Roundtable. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Show 120. Give me a love heart if you got any value out of today's show. Love heart me up right now because we talked about listening. We talked about the skill that costs nothing. You don't need to pay a consultant. You don't need to pay a coach. You just need to practice. I gave you 3 tips around listening, and that is take notes. Number 2 is paraphrase back. And number 3 is engage with people while they're speaking. The reason why we want to listen is that we can then shape our communication style to meet their communication style so we connect at a much deeper level. Doesn't matter whether we're talking sales or whether we're talking looking after our team or we're talking with our friends and our partner. Ladies and gents, show 120. If you loved it, share it. Share the shit out of the show. I'd love it if you would. Okay, now you know I always finish morning. Jared, how are you, mate? Great to have you on board. Thanks, Mark, for that thumbs up. Here we go. Quote of the week. Quote of the week. It's my favourite part of the show, and I know you guys love it. I know you love it. Here it is. Listen to understand, not to reply. Oh, jeez, that's deep. Let me say that again. Listen to understand, not to reply. Listen to understand, not to reply. Listen to understand, not to reply. Ladies and gents, you've been tuned in to JT in the Raw. If you haven't watched it, hit the replay button up there over my shoulder. If you want to watch it again, hit the save button up the top there too. Carol Richards, great to have you up, Richardson, up so early in the morning. Really, no, it's not a Covey quote. It's similar to a Covey quote, but it's my version, Susan. It's my version. Listen to understand, not to reply. My version, JT in the Raw, show 120. Catch ya on the flip side from Miami.